Welcome to the Daily History Podcast, where every day we turn back the pages of time to explore the stories and secrets of our past. In today's episode, Spartacus Revolt, the Gladiator Rebellion, and the Fight for Freedom, we uncover the tale of a Thracian gladiator whose fight for liberty shook the Roman Republic to its core. Join us on this historical journey filled with rebellion, strategy, and the quest for freedom. Born into the heart of Thracia, Spartacus was a man fated to become more than just a memory in history. Thracia, at the time a region partly associated with present-day Greece, Turkey, and Bulgaria, cultivated a people known for their fierce combat skills. It was here, beneath the shadow of the Rhodope Mountains, where the tale of Spartacus began. His early years remain clouded in mystery, yet accounts suggest he may have once served as a soldier. Tragically, Spartacus found himself ensnared by forces that viewed men as mere chattel. During a period of strife and subjugation, he was captured, stripped of his freedom, and condemned to the unforgiving world of gladiatorial combat. This Thracian, once perhaps a warrior with dreams of home and hearth, was now reduced to an object of entertainment. Forced to fight, Spartacus was thrown into the arenas where blood and sand were the currencies of survival. Yet, within this oppressive existence, a spark of defiance flickered and grew. The timeline of Spartacus's life intersects with one of history's great empires, the Roman Republic. In the 1st century BCE, Rome's appetite for expansion and its reliance on slave labor created a breeding ground for discontent. It was a time where the Republic stretched its limbs both far and wide, swathing a blanket of Roman rule and culture over diverse peoples and lands. This landscape, harsh and unforgiving, would soon witness the courage of a man who refused to be broken by the chains of enslavement. Spartacus's early experiences amidst the backdrop of the Roman Republic's power set the stage for what was to come. His life as a gladiator was not a role he sought, but one that he would use as a platform to rally those who shared his chains and his desire for liberty. In this brutal world, Spartacus was shaped into a leader, one who would soon leave an indelible mark on history. Beneath the surface of the mighty Roman Republic, in the sweltering heat of gladiator barracks and the shadowed misery of slaves' quarters, endured the brutal existence of those deemed property by their Roman masters. Gladiators, many forcibly taken from their homelands, or fallen warriors paying their debts, found themselves in an endless cycle of training and combat for entertainment. Their lives were disposable, their blood a spectacle for the roaring crowds in the grand arenas. It was against this backdrop of inhumanity that Spartacus, a Thracian gladiator, reached the limit of his endurance. No stranger to battle, his spirit remained unbroken by the oppressive chains of enslavement. Realizing the might that lay dormant within the hearts of his fellow gladiators, Spartacus ignited the flame of rebellion. His charisma and conviction resonated strongly with his peers, forging a brotherhood from the sparks of defiance. United by a fierce longing for deliverance, they broke free from their shackles, seizing control of their fate. In 73 BCE, what came to be known as the Third Servile War erupted with Spartacus at the helm. Initial encounters were victories for the sheer force and surprise of the slave army, who armed themselves with captured weapons and armor. From the gladiator school of Capua to the southern reaches of Italy, they struck with a force that shook the Roman Republic. In time, their numbers swelled as other enslaved individuals flocked to Spartacus's standard, driven by the allure of liberty. Spartacus proved not only to be a figure of hope, but also a tactician and leader, outwitting the Roman legions sent to crush the insurrection. Spartacus's rebellion, known as the Third Servile War, was a monumental struggle reminiscent of David versus Goliath, where the enslaved underdog faced the might of the Roman legions. After the initial outbreak and seizing of the gladiatorial school in Capua around 73 BCE, Spartacus, with his commanding charisma, rallied a growing number of followers. His army swelled rapidly, consisting not only of fellow gladiators, but also of disenchanted slaves and even some free individuals drawn to the promise of freedom and plunder. This diverse coalition faced a myriad of difficulties, from supply shortages to the lack of a unified command structure. Yet, despite these impediments, they engineered remarkable victories against Roman forces. Spartacus himself favored guerrilla tactics, striking quickly and melting away before Roman legions could effectively respond. He employed cunning strategies, including the use of local terrain to his advantage. Notable triumphs, such as the victory at Mount Vesuvius, where his forces managed to outmaneuver and defeat a Roman militia, became a testament to their resourcefulness and resolve. Meanwhile, the Roman Republic, initially underestimating the threat, reacted haphazardly. After the embarrassing defeats of their local militias, the Senate recognized the gravity of the situation and dispatched experienced legions led by veteran commanders. Politicians like Gaius Claudius Glaber and later the praetor Publius Varinius encountered the rebels in battle, adding political pressure for a swift and decisive end to the slave uprising. One of the pivotal confrontations occurred near Mount Garganus in 72 BCE. Spartacus faced the consular legions led by the consuls Lucius Gellius Publicola and Gnaeus Cornelius Lentulus Clodianus. Despite being outnumbered and outarmed, Spartacus' forces managed to defeat the two consular armies in a sequence of engagements, demonstrating extraordinary audacity and coordination. This victory not only emboldened the rebel army, but also highlighted the underpreparedness and political infighting amongst Rome's elite that was weakening the Republic's military response. The continued success of Spartacus's insurgent forces sent shockwaves throughout the Italian peninsula, intensifying anxiety amongst the Roman populace and aristocracy alike. It was not until Marcus Licinius Crassus took command that the Republic began to see a shift in momentum. Known for his wealth and ambition, Crassus introduced severe discipline in his legions and implemented a series of measures to trap Spartacus and his followers, marking a turning point in the campaign. Crassus' efforts were augmented by the political maneuvering of Pompey the Great and the future dictator Julius Caesar. Under this formidable opposition, the rebellion faced increased strains, leading to its eventual demise. As tangible responses, like the building of fortifications across the Isthmus of Rhegium and strategic encirclements took shape, the rebels found themselves increasingly cornered. Crassus's persistence and the additional pressure undertaken by Pompey, who intercepted fleeing rebel factions, literally closed the net on Spartacus and his once indomitable legion. In retrospect, Spartacus's military campaign, though ultimately unsuccessful, demonstrated extraordinary tactical genius and the capacity to unite and inspire a deeply fragmented and oppressed populace. His followers, comprised of numerous ethnic groups and backgrounds, came together under a singular cause. Their struggles and victories, albeit fleeting, challenged the very foundation of the Roman Republic and left a legacy that would resonate through the ages. Rome, during the era of Spartacus's rebellion, was a bustling republic laden with internal strife and social inequality. The socio-political climate was one of outward expansion and inward tension, as vast conquests brought not only wealth, but also deep-seated problems to the city's gates. Patrician families, who held political power, often found their interests at odds with the plebeians, leading to a state of delicate balance enforced by law and tradition. One of the most significant outcomes of Rome's territorial expansion was the proliferation of slavery. Enslaved people were brought in droves from conquered lands and were employed in various capacities across the Roman economy. From labor in the fields and the mines to domestic servitude and entertainment in the arena, slavery permeated the fabric of Roman life. The over-reliance on enslaved individuals for economic output created a society that was, paradoxically, both affluent and fragile. The uprising led by Spartacus in 73 BCE cast a stark light on these fragilities. As Spartacus's ranks swelled with those who sought freedom from oppression, the Roman Republic was forced to confront its own moral and military shortcomings. The revolt did not just threaten the physical security of Rome, it represented a crack in the ideological foundation of the Republic. The heavy-handed response by Rome's leaders, though eventually successful in quelling the rebellion, revealed the depths of division and the limitations of Roman policy concerning humanity and liberty. This questioning of societal norms would reverberate throughout Roman governance and discourse for years to come. As the Third Servile War marched on, the tides began to turn against the once unstoppable force of Spartacus and his army of rebels. The year is 71 BCE, and the Roman Republic, now fully alert to the threat posed by the slaves' insurrection, is determined to quell the uprising once and for all. Under the command of Marcus Licinius Crassus, Rome's legions set out with renewed vigor, resolved to restore order and supremacy. Crassus, a wealthy patrician known for his cunning and ruthlessness, took a calculated approach to confronting Spartacus. Rather than engaging in direct and risky confrontations, he opted to employ tactics of containment and attrition. Crassus constructed a fortified wall across the Isthmus of Bruttium, effectively trapping Spartacus in the toe of Italy and cutting off his forces from any possibility of escape or reinforcement. This strategic maneuver not only restricted Spartacus's movements, but also strained his army's resources and morale. Facing starvation and unable to break through the fortifications, Spartacus's diverse coalition of gladiators, slaves, and deserters began to fracture. Disagreements and lack of a unified command structure led to dissension within the ranks. Some historians suggest that the rebellion's logistical framework, which was initially an asset in their guerrilla warfare, became a vulnerability as they transitioned to more conventional battles against Rome's legions. The improvisational nature of their campaign, while previously effective, struggled under the sustained and organized military pressure of the Republic. The final blow came at the Battle of the Salaris River, where Spartacus faced the legions of Crassus in a last desperate attempt to break free from the Roman stranglehold. Even though the exact details are lost to history, it's believed that Spartacus fell in this fierce and bloody battle. With their leader gone, the resolve of the rebels quickly disintegrated. The remainder of Spartacus' once mighty army was either slain in the field or taken prisoner by their relentless adversaries. The aftermath for those captured was merciless and served as a chilling warning to any who dared to defy Rome. Crassus ordered the crucifixion of thousands along the Appian Way, from Capua to Rome, as a grim display of power and a symbol to deter future revolts. This act not only reflected the brutalities of the age, but also underscored the desperate desire of the Roman elite to demonstrate their resolve and reassert the natural order of society as they saw it. In the years following the rebellion, the story of Spartacus and his failed uprising continued to echo through the annals of history. Even though the revolt did not succeed in its immediate goals, the story of the fight for freedom and dignity against overwhelming odds left an indelible mark on the collective memory of civilizations to come. The impacts of the rebellion rippled through time, influencing social movements, literature, and entertainment, cementing Spartacus as an enduring symbol of resistance. Spartacus's story, centuries after his final battle, remains a powerful symbol of resistance and emancipation, standing out in historical records as a beacon of defiance against oppression. His legacy has traveled far beyond the chronicles of ancient historians and has firmly rooted itself in the consciousness of modern culture. It is in the writings of Plutarch, Appian, and others where we first encounter the figure of Spartacus, a man initially documented for his role in leading one of the most significant slave uprisings of the ancient world. These accounts lay the groundwork from which Spartacus's legacy would grow, detailing his tactical prowess and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of liberty for himself and his followers. Over time, aspects of his life have been retold, often with varying degrees of embellishment, transforming the man into a legend. Within the realm of popular culture, Spartacus's narrative has evolved to become synonymous with freedom and justice. The 1960 film Spartacus, directed by Stanley Kubrick and starring Kirk Douglas, portrayed the Thracian gladiator with dramatic flair, reigniting interest in his story and solidifying his status as a timeless icon. This cinematic portrayal, though dramatized for Hollywood, sparked a renewed fascination with his struggle, providing viewers with a compelling representation of his fight against systemic injustice. Beyond the silver screen, Spartacus has found his way into literature, television series, and various other mediums, each iteration resonating with audiences worldwide. The essence of his story, though often romanticized, draws upon the universal desire for autonomy and self-determination. His name has transcended the tale of the past, becoming a rallying cry for those who seek to challenge tyranny and demand change within their lives or societies. As we contemplate Spartacus's legacy in the context of contemporary times, one cannot help but acknowledge the lasting impact of his quest. The struggle for human rights and personal liberties remains an ongoing battle in various forms across the globe. Spartacus's rebellion, a historic dissent against the bondage of slavery, parallels the modern-day cries for equality and justice, illustrating that the fight for freedom transcends the bounds of time. Today, Spartacus is a symbol of perseverance and courage for all those who stand against domination and exploitation. In remembering his life and the rebellion he led, we are reminded of the enduring human spirit's capacity to challenge the status quo and strive for a future where every individual can hope to live freely. Spartacus's story, though ancient, speaks to the timeless human condition, inspiring each new generation to examine their values and the impact of their actions on the world's stage of liberty and justice. In conclusion, the legacy of Spartacus is not solely one of historical consideration, but one of ongoing cultural and social significance. As we look back on the tales that have shaped his mythos, we can recognize the threads of inspiration that continue to weave through our collective pursuit of a more equitable and free society. His memory serves as a reminder that the path to freedom often comes fraught with great sacrifice, but promises a timeless narrative of resilience and hope. Thank you for joining us on the Daily History Podcast. We hope you found today's journey through the life and legacy of Spartacus as enlightening as it was thrilling. If Spartacus's fight for freedom has inspired you, make sure to subscribe for more historical explorations, and don't forget to drop us a comment below with suggestions for our next topic. The idea with the most likes will receive prominent consideration for an upcoming episode. Until next time, keep delving into the depths of history to uncover the stories that define our humanity. Goodbye, and stay curious.